Hey, what do you like at simultaneous equations? Do you want to do a little mini test? It's only out of 17, so it's about 20 minutes work. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you question by question. There are only 4 questions. Spend about 5 minutes on each. And I'm going to get you to pause the presentation at the end of each question, have a go, and then right at the end, I'm going to come back, I'm going to scroll right back up the screen and show you the solutions. So when you come to question 4, don't let the video go on because you'll see the solutions. If you want extra time in between, toggle back in the presentation and hold the screen there. Okay, here's the first one. Worth 4 marks, about 5 minutes work. Pause the presentation now and have a go. Alright, I'm going to go on now. I've got a little bit of work there for you for later. And here's question 2. Solve the following using the method of substitution. Pause the presentation and have a go. Here is question 3. Again, about 5 minutes work, each one of these. Pause it, have a go. And here's question 4. Pause it now. Now, don't let the video go on now because I'm going to go back up and do all these problems. So if you want to have a check of the questions, you can toggle back on the presentation. Because here I go. I'm going to show you the solutions now. Good luck with that. Right, here we are. We're starting our test. Better put my name on, Huddy. Okay, here we go. Let's underline the important things here. Using any method here on your graphics calculator and to 1 decimal place. Not a bad idea when you're reading a question to underline the key words. Let's have a look at the first pair of equations. Okay. They're written in explicit form, y equals, and a statement of exactly how to get y from x. So that's called an explicit statement. And on the Casio 9860 Plus graphics display calculator, which I'm using here, I'll go to graph mode. And let's go down and have a look over on the left here of screen in graph mode. If we hit execute, we get this window and we can enter the functions in. Now before we hit execute again, we might want to set the view window. So where's view window? Here it is here. Shift and then in here F3 and we get this window to set up the view window. I have shown here the initial view window, which you get, there it is, by hitting F1. That will set that up. That's not a bad initial window to look at most graphs. If the graphs don't come up, you can toggle around the screen with that button. Okay, so we're okay with our view window. So if we hit execute twice from there, we will get the actual graph. Now we want to find the point of intersection, so we want G-solve down here, so we'll hit Shift and F5 to get G-solve. We now get this window, and you want intersection, so here we are, I've circled it, hit F5 again. Okay, and what happens then? Oh, up comes the solution, nicely. X is 1.6, Y is 1.4. Let's write that down now, back in our answer box. X is 1.6, Y is 1.4. And we get 1 mark for each of those. Okay. It's already to 1 decimal place, so we've checked that off. That's good. Let's look at the other pair now. They're written in a different form. They're written in standard or general form. And on the Casio, we will choose in the menu Equa. So come on down now. I've done that here. Here's Equimo, and when you hit execute, you come to this window and you want simultaneous, so you're going to hit F1 over here, and then we come to this window. It warns us there's data in the memory. We're going to overwrite that because we're going to use it for how many unknowns? 2, there it is. So we will select F1 there. Okay, and we come to this window. There's the existing data on mine, so I'm just going to override it. It's highlighted there, so I've entered 2.1, then it will shift, I'll enter the next coefficient and so on, right through to the end. And then if you want to solve these equations, just hit execute again, or you can hit, to get solved, you can hit F1. Okay, what happens then if you do that? We've just lost that there, come on back. If you do that, we get x is neg 1.80, etc., because that's highlighted. If you scroll down, it'll highlight that one, no need to, we can read it from there if you like. So x is neg 1.8 and y is neg 4.7, remembering one decimal place, so neg 1.8 and neg 4.7. Okay, now there's one mark for each of those. If either or both of them have more than one decimal place, you must subtract 1. For too many decimal places. Okay, only subtract that once. Okay, have you got some marks? Let's go down and see if we can get you some more here. In question 2, method of substitution. Alright, now the idea here in solving equations simultaneously is to combine the information from both equations in some way so that we get one equation in one variable so that we can solve for it. Okay, I'd like you to think about how it works, not just monkey see, monkey do and copy the process or the algorithm. Think of the notion, we've got two pieces of information, two equations for these two unknowns. If we can combine the equations, get one with only one variable, we can solve for that. Let's see how we do it with substitution. Well, this is nicely set up for substitution because it says y equals 2x take 14. So let's write down the first equation and say, well, in both equations, if we want a simultaneous solution, x and y are the same. Therefore, we can pinch the y from that equation and put it in there, because this is a special point that we're finding, a point which lies on both graphs or obeys both equations. So let's do that. So we say this implies 4x take 3 by 2x take 14 equals 30. And then, of course, 4x neg 3 by 2 there is neg 6x, neg 3 by neg 14, negative times negative is positive, plus 42 equals 30. Let's look at the marks. There's 1 for that replacement of y in there with 2x take 14, and 1 for expansion. Now let's do this. 4x take 6x is neg 2x. Do you believe that? Let's have a look. We go out this way. Don't know how big x is, but from 0, 4x take 6x. Yes, we'd be left with neg 2x. Gone too far there, I don't think. Anyway, plus 42 equals 30. And give 1 mark for that. Now what's been done to x? Been times by neg 2. 42's been added. Let's reverse it. Let's subtract the 42 from both sides carefully with this one now. So we've got neg 2x equals 30 take 42, neg 12. Might have to do that on the calculator. Reversing the multiplication by neg 2, dividing by neg 2. Neg 12 divided by neg 2. Negative over negative is a positive. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So only 1 mark for that. Now we've got to substitute back into one of the equations. It doesn't matter which one because we're combining them and we've got combined information about x. We substitute it into either equation, we'll get the same y. This one's the easiest one to substitute into though. So y is 2 times 6 take 14, or y equals 12 take 14 is neg 2. Okay, so the solution is x equals 6, y equals neg 2. So there's 1 mark for the y value as well. Okay, so that one's out of 5. Okay, how'd you go? Are you getting a few? Let's go on now to question 3. Here's question 3. Read it carefully, underline this, it's not a bad idea. Method of elimination. Okay, so let's try again to combine equations. Remember this, combine equations to get a single variable and then solve for it. Okay, one variable in the combined equation and we can solve for it. Now this way we're going to use elimination, so let's call this equation 1, this equation 2. So over here I'm going to write down equation 1, and this time to combine equation under the method of elimination, I'm going to double the second equation. 2x, take 2y equals 12. So that's equation 2 times 2. Now what can we do to combine the two equations for a single variable? Take it away. 2x take 2x is no x. You don't have to put that. I'll put that in this time. Neg 5y take neg 2y is neg 5y plus 2y, which is neg 3y. And then 10 take 12 is neg 2. Okay, so there's 1 mark for getting the coefficients of x the same, 1 mark for subtracting the equations. Now we want to find y, so we'll divide both sides by neg 3. Neg 2 over neg 3. Y is a negative divided by a negative is a positive, 2/3. Okay, so there's 1 mark for that. And now we need to substitute back into one of the equations, and I'm going to use equation 2 because it looks simpler. So therefore x take 2/3 equals 6. X will be equal to 6 plus 2/3, or 6 2/3. 1 mark for that. And if we state our answer, solution is x equals 6 2/3, y equals 2/3. Makes it a nice finishing statement there. Alright, how did you go out of 4? You might have done it differently. Let's come over here and get our combined equation differently. We'll still start with equation 1 because this equation 2 is easier to play with the coefficients. They're only 1s. So let's multiply equation 2 by 5 and see what happens. Here we have it. This is equation 2 times 5. Can you see why I've done that? We've got the y coefficients the same now. So if we now do the same idea, subtract it, 2x take 5x is neg 3x. Neg 5y take neg 5y. Neg 5y plus 5y is no y. So you don't have to put that in. And then 10 take 30 is neg 20. So now we have neg 3x equals neg 20. So x is equal to neg 20 over neg 3. A negative over a negative is a positive, so it's 20 over 3, which equals 6 2/3. So the same answer there. Okay, now we need to sub back into the simpler of the equations. It doesn't matter which one, they'll both give the same answer. It's a simultaneous equation, simultaneous solution. So here's 6 2/3, take y equals 6, and neg y, taking away 6 2/3, okay, implies y equals neg 2/3. Okay, not much room to write the rest of my solution here. So same mark scheme. For multiplying to get the coefficients the same, 1 mark. For correctly subtracting, 1 mark. for getting the X value, 1 mark, and the Y value, 1 mark. How are you going there? Please keep in mind what we're trying to do, so it helps you understand the process or the algorithm. Okay, try and get some understanding in there. Okay, let's go to the last question. I hope you're getting some marks now. Down here in question 4. So in question 4, we've got Julia going to the pet shop, Carrie going to the pet shop. A lot of words here. So we've made it easier. Julia spends $210 on one of each. Carrie $540 on 3 dogs and 2 cats here. All right, so can we write equations? So the pictures actually help us unravel all the words here. So if you had to unravel them, you would actually underline the key points. Okay, 3 dogs, 2 cats. The pictures help us do that here. All right, so write down a pair of simultaneous equations and solve. Okay, you should really put down what you're going to do in your equations. Let X be the cost of a dog. Let X dollars should be. Let Y dollars be the cost of a cat. Okay, so there's really 1 mark for that. You must, if you're introducing pronumerals to stand for a variable, you should state what they stand for. Let's write the equations now. For Julia, 1 dog, that's 1 X dollars plus 1 Y dollars equals $210. And then, so that's worth 1 mark. And then Carrie's equation, 3 dogs plus 2 cats equals $540. That's 1 mark. And then we're allowed to solve it using the graphics calculator. So look at these. These are in general form, and so on the Casio we will use Equimode. Let's go down and look at the answer then, and that's what the final mark. So coming down now, here we have, if you go, here's Equimode on the menu, hit execute. Again we come to simultaneous and 2 unknowns, and if we enter them, there we have it. 1x plus 1y is 210, 3x plus 2y is 540. So we now need to have the answer to that. Have we got the answer here somewhere? Oops, we've lost the final window there. So let's have a look at what the answer would be. So if we did do that up here, I think the answer is, here, I think it's 120, isn't it? We'll just check it over here because I've lost the final calculator from that screen there. So it would be X is 420. Back again, X is 120, isn't it? X is $120 and Y is $90. So checking it in both equations, in that one and that one, we see that's correct. Now here, because it just said solve the pair of equations, that would do, but because the context is cost of dogs, we really should say the cost of a dog equals $120. The cost of a cat equals $90. We'll forgive you this time because it didn't say find the cost of a dog and a cat. So what's our mark scheme? We've got 1, 2, 3, and only 1 for the joint statement X and Y. How did you go with that? A fair bit of work there. Did you get 17 or did you not? Okay, let's go back up, and what I want you to do now is to put your answer here out of 17 and just have a look through the solutions again and have a go. All right, I hope you've enjoyed that. Maybe I'll catch you in another presentation. Cheers for now.